Smack's video is interesting to get some food for thought regarding the revenue charts. Gacha Smack. Let's see here. All right, let's see this. Thumbnail says, I'm not impressed. Zenless Zone Zero made 100 million, but here's the problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by yours truly. It is that time of the month. Sensori Tower released the revenue for the month of July, which is also Zenless Zone Zero's debut launch, and the numbers might appear to be quite shocking to a lot of people who look at them as a first impression of just, taking a gander.
I think the only people who are really shocked are people who live in an echo chamber of, like, Hoyo hate. Like, honestly, like you if you're like a smart thinking Hoyo hater as well, you do still realize when you zoom out, it's like, I could hate Hoyoverse all I want, but you have to admit they're fucking the largest company like in that segment besides Tencent, right? But like a lot of Tencent's games don't show up on these fucking revenue charts, right?
I have some interesting thoughts on this situation. I think the numbers do tell a quite interesting story, and you might be surprised with what I point out based off of what I'm seeing in front of me. But I can already imagine the comment section, right? You got the Kudo shields, you got the Hoyo shields.
Wuthering Waves, look at it. It didn't even make it in the top 5. It's not a part of the big 4. It's a big failure. It's a big flop.
And
Real
then you
boys?
got the Hoyo cucks, bro. They're like,
See, you guys, you were doom posting Zenless Zone Zero, and look at it now. It's number 1.
it's so freaking obvious. It's so easy to predict what people are gonna say. I'll tell you right now, this video will probably get over 1,000 comments.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think the people who do that are such a small minority and they're just such big losers. Just play the fucking games you like. Like, there's just too many people. I know it's a very vocal minority, but there's too many of them that just like make their existence online bitching about other games rather than spending their time, that time that they're spending typing and arguing with people online, playing the games they love. Like, I swear to God, some of these people, with all the time they spend arguing with people on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube comments, whatever, you could probably be enjoying whatever actual games you love, but instead you're just choosing to PvP,
Comments. I'll tell you that right now. It'll probably land between 30 to 40,000 views, but it'll get over 1,000 comments, which is a lot of comments for that kind of volume. Anyways, without further ado, I want to look at the main topic here, and then I want to also take a gander at some of the other games that I feel have been moving up or moving down. Let's get into it. Before we go any further, I just want you guys to know I do not have a hat in this race, and I do not care who's number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3. I merely like to look.
True. Anybody that does care is a fucking loser. Like, no, these companies don't know you. Like, nobody at Zenless Zone Zero, Love and Deep Space, or Wuthering Waves, any of these companies aren't like, oh my God, did you see that guy defending us in the Twitter comments? Oh my God, hey, shout out to that guy. Yeah, let's go. Woo! Like, none of these companies care about you. They don't know you. Like, why do you care about who's making the most money? That is literally like, it's as if you guys, instead of watching sports, started rooting for your favorite billionaires in the world. You're like, hey, Elon Musk, no, I'm for Bill Gates, no, Warren Buffett. Like, what are you guys doing? Why are you guys cheering for the billion? Like, why does it matter? It's the stupidest thing. That's what actual Elon fans do, though. And they're all fucking stupid.
Kilometers.
Look at the metrics and information presented in front of me with a rational and objective sense of mind. So know that whatever I say has no vitriol feelings attached to it. It's just merely commenting on what I see in front of me.
Yeah.
I know y'all might think you don't have to say that, Smack, but there's some weird motherfuckers in this community who really take this shit to heart, believe it or not. That said,
yeah, it's called r/gacha gaming. I swear to God, they make it like a ceremonial, like special cult event. They're like, it is the final day of the month. Gacha revenue is coming. Everybody come together. Like, it's literally what they do. It's so fucking sad.
A lot of people might be thinking Zenless Zone Zero absolutely crushed it. In fact, let's go to the combined revenue so we can see. I do want to talk about a couple of talking points here, but combined
What is Love and Deep Space? The second best gacha game in the world, according to revenue. And honestly, maybe understandably so. I've been keeping a track of Love and Deep Space, and it is consistently up here, right? And you know, obviously I'm someone that doesn't want to equate revenue to how good a game is, but you do have to admit something with that much consistency must mean it's good, right?
Why?
Play it then? I don't like men. Fuck you. And I can't self-insert as a girl because I'm not a girl. I don't know what you want me to do.
Zone Zero made pretty much $100 million in 1 month. A lot of people were like, oh my God, that's insane, right? People are looking at Wuthering Waves, seeing 46 million.
I've never tried.
29 million.
Just become gay for a
thinking,
while?
oh, it's falling off.
First of all, you do realize being gay and being a woman are very different. Like, that is not the same thing. What the fuck? Like, what does that even mean?
Off, it's not doing good. I know some of y'all are mature adults and you understand that 30 million in 1 month is far from that, but some people actually think it's falling off.
Nah, Wuthering Waves is fine.
I want to give my thoughts on what I see before me. Here's some factuals, guys. If we go and take a look at the months before, let's look at March, okay? In March, Honkai Star Rail between China and global made $150 million, pretty much roughly. Genshin Impact
What's up,
made
Aldrich?
another $68 million, right? So we take that 150 plus 68, that's over $200 million in the month of March. In the month of February, 90 million from Honkai Star Rail, and in Genshin Impact, plus these two combined is looking at pretty much 90 million as well.
This is something I definitely think more people should like do. It's like obviously individual game tribalism is great, but like I do actually wonder if this site does it, where it's like it groups things up by company. Like, my God, you know, it does it actually? It does kinda. What does that mean? That would be crazy to see just how much money month after month Hoyoverse is fucking making. Like, it's crazy. And I do want to see how it compares to other companies who have multiple games as well. You know? Pepperson, thank you for the raid. Check Gacha Gaming post and go to second image. Okay, Gacha Gaming. Second image. It doesn't this is just dividing it by this is just dividing it by yeah, no it doesn't. This is just by country. I'm not talking about country. I'm talking about by company, chat. Company, not country. I think you misunderstood company and country. I meant country. Check the website itself. What is the website itself, chat? I don't know the website. What is the website? It's just Sensor Tower? Gacha revenue. Okay. Oh my God, gacha stonks are down. Total revenue this month for the entire industry down 0.83%. Stonks, our SMP gacha 500 is not looking good. Anyways, so if I do this and do it by, how would I do this? How do I do this? No, I don't want regions, motherfuckers. I want companies. I want it to be like, if I type in Hoyoverse or MiHoYo. Oh my God. Wait, chat. I was wrong. I think MiHoYo is running gacha revenue. Why is Herda here? Right, okay, so it doesn't do it by companies, right? It's just by, yeah, it's just by countries and regions. So I can't really do anything. But it would be cool. I think it would be cool if someone aggregated all of it to include by company, you know? What is this? 108 mil for Hoyo this month, excluding CN Android. Oh, so this is all Hoyo revenue. What? How the fuck does Gun Girl Z still make $300,000? What in the fuck? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Jesus Christ. Okay. So, wait, this says 40 mil. Am I reading this wrong? You said 100 mil. Anyways, all right, let's just go back to the video.
That's $180 million in the months of February and March. Oh, well, that's just March and February, Smack. Okay, let's look at the other months. Let's look at April. In the month of April, Genshin Impact made 82 million China, and then another 36 million in global. That's over $100 million. Honkai Star Rail, over $100 million. That's
Why doesn't he just use the global images for these instead of having to add the
over 200 million in revenue in the month of April. Bear with me here. All of this is going to make perfect sense. Now let's go to May. In the month of May, Honkai Star Rail. That's $87 million. Genshin Impact, that's, that did horrible that month, but still. 50 million plus 87, that's $137 million.
Jesus.
We'll put that as the bottom.
$52 million fall off.
And then finally, I want to look at the month of June.
I think
June,
all the keynote
this is where the game got froze for, let me pull it back up, sorry. This is where the game got froze for 3 days, allegedly. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the community was like all in agreement with it, so maybe it has some merit to it. Regardless, in the month of June, Honkai Star Rail made $95 million. Genshin Impact.
So on that point of it was apparently frozen, I know a bunch of people in chat said it was only for Wuthering Waves. When I originally researched that and like looked into a bunch of posts talking about it, they were saying it was for all gacha revenue, not just Wuthering Waves. So I don't know if it was just for Wuthering Waves. I feel like that was just like making stuff up. Research. I mean, I was just like going into Twitter threads and Reddit posts and just fucking trying to see like what people are talking about. What research you want me to do? You want me to open up the textbook of fucking online gacha games and be like, oh yes, on chapter 4, paragraph 9? Like, the fuck?
I made 67.
No, it was just for WUA for July, but it was 2 days after the banner dropped. I think first 5 days are the most important for a banner. So I mean, if they lose a couple days in the first 5 days, it's still substantial, you know. Everton Bell, thank you for the Prime.
$160 million there. Right, that's $162 million. Now I can get to my point.
Okay. Yeah, the bug I'm talking about is June. So you're telling me there was a July bug for WUA. I don't know. Conspiracy theory. Hoyoverse.
The debut launch of Zenless Zone Zero, which is the strongest month of a game, usually, it made 96 million. But what happened to Genshin and Honkai? They fell off a cliff. 50% drop in revenue. Dude, that's a...
This is an interesting thing he's talking about. This is why I was mentioning that I think August, September is like when we need to really see. Because, right, at the end of the day, MiHoYo has its grip on this amount of people, right? They're probably not getting that many more people, right? This is the amount of people they have. How much money can they milk out of this? What is the peak amount of money they can milk out of it? And I think what Smack is probably getting to is that we are probably seeing very close to the point where which with all these different games, the money is being stretched thin between them, so the totals won't change that much. It'll probably be around about the same for Hoyoverse, total-wise, right? Because it is about the same players, you know? That's why it's pretty interesting, because none of the CCs haven't looked at this through this picture. I was kind of referring to it about, like, the entirety of, like, Hoyoverse's, like, peak month. But, yeah, he is definitely a lot clearer about it. ZZZ cannibalized on HSR and Genshin. They kind of make, like, no profit from what ZZZ released, according to Smack. We'll listen to the rest of the video. But, like, I think we could all agree, right? What did I always say? What did I say was the company that could bring down Genshin? Hoyoverse. Because they'll just make another game, and that'll cannibalize its own company and its own game, right? HSR has definitely taken a lot of revenue from Genshin, and I'm sure ZZZ will take a lot of revenue from those two games, and I'm sure they will take revenue from ZZZ and vice versa as well. And then who knows, when we get the next Hoyoverse game, I'm sure it will cannibalize the revenue on the other games as well. So it's all going to stagnate to a total, right? I had heard that the bug with June's data started a few days after Firefly's release and affected HSR's earnings too. Yeah, 100%. They said the same thing about HSR, but that turned out to be completely false. It cannibalized a little bit, but overall revenue was still up from when it was just Genshin. Okay, but like, here's the thing about that, right? I don't think HSR is a good point to assume that it would have hit a baseline, right? Because HSR is a completely different type of game from Genshin, right? HSR is a turn-based game versus a action combat game, right? So I feel like HSR probably increased their reach more than Genshin had. So in terms of like a new demographic of players, right? So HSR is different from ZZZ. HSR was so big on launch compared to ZZ in terms of revenue. Oh yeah, for sure. But like what I'm saying is, I definitely think with ZZZ,
I hope you go
HSR,
straight
and
to
Genshin,
GTA Chaos
like,
mod after this scoring session.
we're going
Really
to
mad.
hit that ceiling that MiHoYo can really milk their player base from, right? There has to be, unless they've discovered an infinite, unlimited money hack, right? Unless they have, I don't know, but I don't think so. There's got to be a peak. Right? People don't just fucking grow money off trees. They have a limit. And if they play HSR, Genshin, and ZZZ, and they only have like $1,000, let's say, of disposable income, they could only spread it so far, you know? CN was saying Kuro was the cause for the freeze in the iOS store for Wuthering Waves for 2 days in July. I don't know. I don't really care. It is what it is, right? Nobody's arguing that Wuthering Waves is dead. Anybody arguing that is fucking stupid. And could those couple days of, made Wuthering Waves look a lot better? Sure, but who the fuck cares? Really doesn't fucking matter unless you are like, I stand for Wuthering Waves. My game made this. Like, bro, if you're doing that, you're just like a loser. So nobody cares.
Massive. Dude, that's cut in half. This 3 times the revenue drop, 35 and 36. Coincidentally, though, Zenless Zone Zero went up. When I look at what Genshin Impact and Honkai is able to bring in, before ZZZ ever came out, they were doing better than these numbers combined. I'm looking at Hoyoverse as a company collectively with all of their IPs. When I look at these from a business standpoint, I'm asking myself, when they drop another IP, is that IP raising their overall revenue value, or is it underperforming?
I don't think ZZZ will increase the total reach of a Hoyoverse at all. Because I think it's about the same formula that Hoyoverse has done in the past with like Honkai Impact. And it's not that far off from Genshin as well for like action combat. So it definitely won't. And so this is why I'm saying I think the peak of how they're milking their audience is going to be reached here, right? So we'll start to see like a trend here of total numbers. This is why I was asking earlier about company splits, because I want to see a trend forming of like how much a company can really milk their audience, the max.
When you look at this, 162 million between Genshin Impact and Honkai last month with 3 days of freeze, if that's true, versus guess what? Same exact amount of money. We got 170 million, so it went up like 10 million. They didn't even outperform their 2 IPs before the brand new IP came out. So I'm not saying they didn't do good. There's still not enough data because we're only going off of just 1 month. My question to you guys is, and I don't know the answer.
My question is August, September.
Is this just the same exact audience of Hoyoverse in the Hoyosphere?
All right, so he's saying the exact same thing I was implying, right? So now the question is August, September. That's where it'll come down. We got Fei Xiao Ling Sha in HSR. We got Natlan in Genshin. We're gonna have like with Zenless Zone Zero is probably gonna have like a Jane Doe into 1.2 characters. I will say if 1.2 characters are a flop, then it kind of makes the experiment a bit rough. What I need is Honkai Star Rail releasing an Emanator. I need Genshin Impact releasing an Archon, and I need Zenless Zone Zero releasing like Miyabi or something. And I need them all to coincide on the same month. And I want to see pure cinema of just, okay, let's see which IP really is the number 1 Hoyo IP, right? Yeah, it's no longer gacha PvP. It's Hoyo PvP. Which Hoyo game can make the most money?
Chat,
and then
we
out of
started
left
this
field,
video
Tears of
18
Themis comes
minutes
out
ago,
and makes
and we are 6
$500 million.
minutes in. At this pace, we're going to be here for at least another 30 minutes.
Who knows? Maybe
Kilometers.
Tears of Themis will come out of left field, right? Take Love and Deep Space's spot. They will never do that, though. They already purposely stagger their big banners. That's how portfolio businesses work. I know, you're right, but I think the HSR Genshin Fei Xiao Natlan overlap might be the closest that we could get to that. At least that's me. I think Fei Xiao's pretty hyped, right? And I think Natlan's pretty hyped. So We could almost see that overlap there. Fei Xiao is a fucking hunt unit? Yeah, and I'm gonna hunt you down in Minecraft. Imagine if they do that and Love and D-Space beats both you and Gacha Smack are missing the tree for the forest. It's more of the fact that Hoyo is maintaining this revenue trend at portfolio level. No, I mean, I get that, right? This is why I continue to maintain that Hoyoverse is literally like the Apple or Samsung of Gacha, right? They are the top, right? Besides fucking Tencent. But like I said, most of the Tencent games don't even fucking show up here. So
transitioning over to their other games to play their other games and spend their money. Because if that is the case, that means Hoyoverse failed to capture a new market. It's just the same market.
Every single person saying Fei Xiao is mid, you're blind and dumb.
Honkai their numbers dropped because they just went over to play Zenless Zone Zero, and their maximum revenue didn't even get breached. They made 160 million. I just showed y'all they made 200 million 3 months. Then they made 170 or 180. They can't even outperform what they were doing before the new IP came out. So did it really succeed is my question to you guys. I'm not saying that the shit, I'm asking you. I'm genuinely asking, did it actually succeed? Or is it just the same people spending the same money? Here's the one pro I can say to you guys. If Zenless Zone Zero increases how often...
I think it succeeded because the number one goal of Hoyoverse is to continue to maintain their audience in their circle and keep them coming for newer and newer games. And if they succeed in doing that, that is success. If they were able to convince HSR and Genshin Impact players to go to ZZZ and swipe, that is a success, right? And this is like I always keep saying, the Hoyoverse. This is their master plan. Obtain a large chunk of the gaming population within Gacha and maintain them in their sphere, right? I don't know if you guys you guys ever hear about how Disney used to work, Disneyland? So originally when Disneyland came out, right? Disneyland did not have their own hotels, right? They didn't. So what happened a lot was that originally Walt Disney made a contract with this random dude, and the dude ran the hotel, but Disney did not own it. So what happened was Disney was getting a lot of revenue for their hotels, but basically everybody, or for their theme park, but everybody was getting outside of it, going to restaurants, going to hotels, and spending their money for like stuff like that, right? What did Disney do after that when they made Disney World? What they did is Walt Disney, he passed away before he saw it happen, but Walt Disney basically had it so that Disney would own all the hotels within the theme park, right? So now they get everything. If you come into Disney, every goddamn food you buy, bed you sleep on, drink you drink, everything will be Disney, right? And that's the same thing Hoyoverse is trying to do here, where you come into the Hoyoverse, every goddamn game you play will be a Genshin Impact, a Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Animal Crossing game, FPS game, fucking MMO, MOBA, whatever they decide to make later, you know? So that is essentially their plan, right? And Hoyo's deliberate in their banner placements in order to not squeeze spendings. Yeah, 100%, right? Is it stupid because Sensor Tower doesn't estimate console or PC, just mobile, so he's trying to make a theory without even seeing all the revenue streams? Well, it's not stupid because... I say it's not stupid because you can get a roundabout idea, a reflection, or like a good idea of what things are looking like. You don't need the entire picture, right, to see a trend. You know, it's enough, you know?
Often Hoyoverse makes 150 million or more mobile version wise only, strictly speaking.
Exactly. It's good for trends. It's not good for like precision, right? We're not going for precision here. We're just looking for trends. Looking for like, okay, roundabout what's performing the best, roundabout what's like, because if like you're right. If we looked at mobile revenue and then suddenly looked at PC revenue and then looked at, you know, console revenue and then tried to make a fucking conclusion from that, that makes no sense. But if we look at mobile revenue month after month after month after month after month, then you have a trend there using the same sample size or using the same samples, right? And that's fine, you know?
that's a W. That's the worst case scenario, but it's still a W because what that means is Hoyoverse is now consistently.
Do you really think that
always
placements would change that much of consoles and PC? I think global servers can move up and down. I don't think, for the most part, most things would change that much, though, no.
150 million because they just got their pre-existing consumers to spend money more often. Oh, you didn't spend in Honkai Star Rail this month because it's a dead patch, but you spent in Zenless Zone Zero, right? So they're taking the customer they already have in front of them and just making them spend money more often, which still is an increase in their net profits. Or not net, gross. I get net and gross confused all the goddamn time. Regardless, if they on a bare minimum before ZZZ, they make, I don't know, 70 million bare minimum and 200 million maximum. That's
Started
usually
watching
the
you playing
number,
GBF,
the
now I'm
min-max
a
that
whale
they
in
go in
HSR
between.
and Zs.
But ZZZ
Ours
takes their
Lumberjack, they went to
mid
3.
from 70
Oh, God.
million to 150, and now they always make 150 to 200. That's a W, right? Because now they're always making 150 bare minimum, whereas before they were making 70 bare minimum.
Chat, what's the current content schedule for Hoyoverse? There's a break week where there isn't a patch, right? Or where there isn't a new thing going on, right? 2 weeks? No? New banner every week? It's every 2 weeks, right? It's not completely filled. It's always every 2 weeks. Okay. So they still have space to add, like, what? 2 more games, possibly? Or 1 more game to complete the Exodia? 3 more? Okay, they have 3 more games. 2 more or 3 more games to complete the Exodia of milking their players every week of the month. Because I think that's where they're aiming for. That is what they're aiming for. They want to get to the point where they have a new thing dropping of one of their IPs every week and milking everybody. You know? Yes, it's better to cannibalize within your own company rather than letting another company take the opportunity on the market. That's Apple's plan with their closed garden ecosystem. Yeah, 100%. And that's why I was making my Disney example as well, because I think that's a perfect example as well, the way Disney went about, you know, incorporating not just a theme park, but also, you know, the hotels, the restaurants, everything, you know?
Minimum. That is a W, but at the end of the day, I am looking at that as a filler game for when their other 2 games have dead patches. That's one variable. However, this is, again, I would like to say this again, this is just the first month. What if in month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, you see Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail revenue numbers jump back up to the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100, and then you still see Zenless Zone Zero hitting 90 million or 80 or 70 million, because any of those are very sizable numbers. And
if that happens, we have a month where every single Hoyo game is at 90 million, I'd be surprised. That'd be insane. That would just mean everybody that plays Hoyo games have money hacks. Or just rob the bank. Or are just all billionaires. Because, like, there's gotta be a limit to how much people can spend per month on fucking gacha games, you know?
figures. If that month comes where you see Honkai and Genshin perform high like they normally do, and you see ZZZ
or maybe
still
they've unlocked
high,
more players. You
now
know?
we have the
maybe
answer
all the fighting
that
game
ZZZ
community is
has
coming into
absolutely
Zenless Zone
crushed it.
Zero,
They've
and
targeted
every
a
single
brand new
person in
market and
Evo
captured a new
is
audience because
swiping
now
for
Hoyoverse is
Ellen
making more money than they've
or
ever made
Zuya.
before. You see, when I look at this, I look at it as, let's say a YouTuber averages 20 million views a month, right? And then the YouTuber decides to implement in this new format of presenting their content. And now they go from averaging 20 million a month to 21 million a month. That means the new content presentation actually increased their overall volume of performance, which means that's a W. That's how I'm looking at Zenless Zone Zero. But if the YouTuber averages 15 to 20 million a month, and then they bring in this new presentation format that makes them go from averaging 15 to 20 to 17 to 20. Well, now that's still a W. What they did still increased their overall average volume of performance. Ultimately, what I'm trying to tell you guys is it's actually too soon to look at that as a success based off of what I'm looking at. Because based off what I'm looking at, it's actually not a success. If anything, they barely even broke even on what they do with their other 2 games. It might even.
Nah, I think that's a bad take because that's just looking at the money. He's not looking at the idea of what Hoyoverse is trying to achieve, right? Like I said, Hoyoverse is trying to achieve a closed ecosystem where if their other two games have nothing going on, you will go to their other game. Or down the road, if their 4 games don't have something going on, you go to that 5th game, right? And as long as that other game is making up for the slack of the other games, that is still considered a success, right? That's just cap. If ZZ was bad, would HSR or Genshin players even spend? Well, yes. I think in China they might. Because I swear to God, to a certain degree, like, people chase trends very hard in Asia. And, you know, it's just a thing where it's like, oh, you know, what's your Genshin account looking like? Or, oh, yo, can I add you on Honkai Star? Like, it's like actual, like, social things, you know? Like, Hoyo is very big, you know?
Even be a bit of a failure. But as time goes by, time will tell
Sometimes
if this was a new audience and Genshin.
Swipe.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I do that too, but it's a bad take because July was already a slow month. HSR made 41 million in July 2023, and Genshin made 32. So adding ZZ is a much higher amount of overall money for July. Now, like I said, you know, I think I think Smack is looking at the just total month that was made as the company and gauging success in that regard. But I think success is more than just how much money they made, especially off of a 1 month sample size, right? It's about turnover of player base into their other IP. And it's very clear that a lot of the Hoyoverse players were very interested to try and spend money in Zenless, right?
And Honkai just had a bad...
Now the question is that going to be consistent? Right? Month 2, month 3, month 4. We'll fucking see. All right? There's a very good chance it's not. But there's a very good chance it is as well. It depends how Hoyo-rotted everybody's brains are in China. I say in China specifically because China's who carries these revenues by a long shot. But
month, or if it's just them competing with themselves in a bad way. Right?
That's not a bad take since we don't really know if this Hoyo strategy is even going to work. Gacha players don't have infinite money in their pocket unless I see all 3 games make 100 million plus in 1 month, and I might believe. But why would that happen? That would just never happen. But what you just stated in the latter part of your sentence is the exact opposite of what the Hoyo strategy is. Like, which means you don't understand what the Hoyo strategy I'm talking about is.
Or
the whole point is that they don't have to make 100 million, every single one of them. The fact that if, let's say, instead of 100 million, 100 million, 100 million, it's like, okay, if Honkai Star is only making 30 and Genshin is only making 30, then ZZ can pick up the slack and make like the 90. Or like if vice versa, right?
They're always going to have an increased minimum performance. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain.
How do you know the Hoyo strategy? Obviously, I don't, right? I'm just assuming, right? I mean, why do you think Hoyoverse is making so many games and pushing to consistently release more and more games rather than doubling down like a lot of these other companies and just building upon their one IP, right? Like, clearly they want to create a whole ecosystem. And I know this is a little like cringe to say, but partially them renaming to Hoyoverse or like having their separate Hoyoverse name outside of China's MiHoYo, like kind of is also like, is this like a play on words or is this like, you know, I hate Hoyoverse name, but it does work. Yeah. So if they release 5 games and the total revenue barely increases, that's still a good thing. Imagine the operating expense. I still think it's a good thing because let's go from that 5 games to 1 game. If Genshin if Genshin was on rerun patches and if Genshin was on, you know, dead patches or characters just flopped, that revenue is far down. But now they will always at least have 1 game popping off. And that 1 game will always carry the slack of the others, right? That's the whole point of the strategy, right? It doesn't matter if HSR, ZZZ, Genshin is dead because the Animal Crossing game has a new patch with a brand new villager and everybody and their mother is swiping for him, right? Let's say Genshin is on fucking 5.6 and there's fucking the ugliest goddamn character they've ever released, right? And Honkai Star Rail is stuck somewhere under the goddamn ice and we're looking for March's long lost fucking brother or something and they're ugly as shit. And Zenless Zone Zero is releasing double furry, but they're like ugly furries and nobody wants to swipe. Guess what? Good thing the new Hoyoverse MMO is releasing some hot new big titty mommy milkers. Everybody's swiping there, right? So as long as one of their games is having a big event, it's fine, right? Also, monthly revenue is a bad metric since there's not the same number of banners across. Yeah, of course, right? Nobody is expecting that, right?
It's my thoughts on this. I don't really look at it as Zenless Zone Zero killed it. I looked at it as Zenless Zone Zero just has the same damn audience. Now, I will tell you, as usual, if we go over here to the separate, China did 66 million of that 96, which is fucking ridiculous. And then when you look at Honkai,
it is ridiculous.
And Genshin Impact's China versions, which where the hell is that even at? Here we go. Honkai Star Rail, dude, it dropped from 60 down to 16,
I wonder if he talks about Jade,
bro, in China.
I wonder if he talks about Jade.
That is insane. And what that tells me is that China's trendy as hell and just jumps on the next popular Hoyo game. That's what that tells me.
Or they just hate Jade. I think if Jade was Fei Zhao, this would be a lot higher, right? Let's be honest. You know? Let's be honest. If this was Fei Zhao, this would be a lot higher. If this was, let's say, Acheron, it would be a lot higher, right? I'm sure it's a bit of both, right? 1,000,000%. This is why I said, right, trends matter a lot in China. People always like being on the new thing, like in terms of social, social networking as well as like, oh my god, they show off their new character in their new game, Zenless Zone Zero. That gets more traction than, being like, I pulled Jade and Honkai Star Rail. That's old news, brother. What the fuck? You're not playing Zenless Zone Zero? So like, that's a very big thing. But like, I think also a part of that is not that many people are crazy about Jade. Did you guys, if I remember when Jade came out, I saw a lot of content creators doom posting her as one of quite possibly the worst characters to ever release in a Honkai Star Rail. Which I don't know if it's true, but like, if these people were saying that, then I'm sure there are a lot of people in CN that just like did not care about her. So
when I look at Genshin, it's the same thing. 38 down to 19. What the I mean, this is way worse though. But you take these numbers and just plug them in here and then boom, there you go, right? Global in China are almost a 1-to-1. That never happens. This never actually happens, but it did. So I think these numbers are quite telling in the direction that I am kind of like painting it in. But at the end of the day,
you want to know why this happens? Because Global like hot women like Jade, but CN saw Jade and thought that she was, CN, they like to come home from a long day of work and they don't want to see a female character be, a little feisty and rude to them. They want a female character that's nice and loves them back. And Jade wasn't that, so they didn't want to roll for her.
Again, I'm not stating this as facts. I'm merely commenting on what I see and taking it
By
as
the way, for anyone that doesn't get that, I'm just shitposting because there was like other gacha games like Girls Frontline or whatever that was like people are like some Genshin characters as well where like they don't like the attitude of certain characters because they're not loving enough. Like if you guys don't know, for Wuthering Waves, they changed Dan Jin's fucking personality because they said she wasn't welcoming enough, and they said if they wanted to come home from work and get some bitch to be mean to them, they don't need this in their life, right? Like this is actually them. These are real people, by the way, right? This is how they think. That's why Kuro changed Danjin from this like yandere type edgy character to this like cutesy I guess kind of like tsundere character, so fucking lame, but that is actually a thing,
It's value. Now I want to move on to Wuthering Waves though, because Wuthering Waves dropped big time in
all Hoyo do is brainwashing normies to keep spending on their Hoyoverse games, and with toxic community attacking other gacha games, comparing everything to their game, you see your self gacha game community become more toxic after Genshin arrive. As someone who has been playing gacha games since 2013, 14, no, gacha community has always been dog shit toxic. Genshin just brought more normies into it, which brought more cringe people, but like it was always toxic as fuck. Like if you think gacha communities weren't toxic before Genshin, you're just wrong. You just haven't played gacha games. Like my god, the amount of the cesspool that was FGO discords. There's a reason I'm banned on 2 of them. Because I argued with mods every day, and these self-righteous Discord mods thought they were like the best human beings in the world, you know, bringing justice to the Discord and fucking. Anyways,
global, and it dropped in China barely though. It actually barely moved in China when we compare to how bad it dropped globally. That's actually pretty interesting. What I will say about Wuthering Waves is based off of what everybody has told me, it's just horrible to play on a mobile device. I've always been of the firm belief that Wuthering Waves is more successful on console than any of these other games are, because it's just more, or I'm sorry, not console, PC. It needs to drop on console, PC, because it's just more of a mechanically savvy game on a PC, way more so than the other titles. So it sucks that you can't look at PC sales on this, revenue chart, but it is what it is. That said, if you think Wuthering Waves is failing, I would like to go back to that same exact argument I just told you guys. Wuthering Waves, when we look at where it used to be, Kudo as a company, we scroll down here. Where the hell is Punishing Gray? Look at Punishing Gray Raven. Punishing Gray Raven was barely scraping for 1 million in profits not too long ago. I'm actually impressed that it's almost at 3 million right here, because Punishing Gray Raven just wasn't making any money for the last couple of months. You can go back to the other revenue charts and look.
I think when a gacha game is still making over 1 million, that's still good money. That's just me. As someone who has been looking at these charts for a long time, like for a gacha game to really be like, wow, that shit's making nothing, might as well EOS. It's like you gotta go down to like the garbage games at the bottom, right? Like Higanu Urthil or whatever that are making like $10,000 or like $30,000, right? At that point, it's like, okay, like that's probably barely keeping up with like, paying the devs and operation costs, right? But when you're making 1 million, that's still good enough. That's still a very good gacha game.
I'm not making that up. Good job on PGR this month for killing it, by the way. It went up to 3 million. But what I'm trying to tell you is Kudo Games, this is where they lived before Wuthering Waves. Okay? They're over. Their maximum profits were like 1 million, 2 million, 3 tops. Tops, guys. They are
I think PGR's gone like higher before, right? But
up here after Wuthering Waves, making not 1, not 2, not 3 million, but 46 million with 3.
I think this is where a lot of the comedy about Kuro copying Hoyo comes from. Like, it's obviously shit posting, but it's like, oh my god, Honkai Impact to Genshin Impact, Punishing Grey Raven to Wuthering Waves. Everybody's like, let's wait for the Kuro Games turn-based game that'll mimic Honkai Star Rail. Obviously, it's shit posting, but I will say it will be really funny if Kuro Games releases a turn-based game next. That'll be. Then at that point, it's like, wait a second. Now we're seeing a trend here. Before it was like not enough of a sample size, but now we got 3 samples, and it's like, hold up. Well, we'll see.
The days froze or whatever. And then 30 million.
They said they don't care for turn-based. Based. Thank fucking God, because the one thing Kuro does really well is action combat, and I love their combat systems. Fuck turn-based.
Bro, they're making 70 fucking million dollars from 1 to 2 to 3 million. That's like 1,000%. That's 3,000% increase. It's insane. So this game and the company
Would
as a whole
HSR that? No, because I fucking love HSR's characters, right? It's the same reason I won't quit Genshin. I love Genshin Impact's world and characters, right? I play, like, at the core, chat, unfortunately, the core gameplay for a lot of gachas as a whale starts to mean nothing. And so a lot of them just start becoming waifu collectors. It's the reality of when you swipe the difficulty away, right? It is. And I don't mind that, right? I don't mind swiping a Wuthering Waves, swiping a Nikke, swiping a Genshin, ZZZ, a Honkai Star Rail, and it makes the game's endgame easy as fuck, right? At the end of the day, my roots are in, like, playing shit like Puzzles and Dragons and FGO, right? You think FGO has some crazy endgame? Sure, it's got challenge quests and shit like that, but, like, at the root, at its core, it is a waifu collector. I am here to collect, okay? I don't really fucking care about meta that much. At the end of the day, I care about having my favorite hot big titty mommies, you know? And that is all that fucking matters.
Collectively, bro, they're like a stock that's shooting straight the fuck up right now. They're ecstatic. They are happy. They are dancing around the fire, bro. So, although Wuthering Waves dropped
Where's Dea's
to
build?
30
My Dea is max level. I don't know what you're talking about. And she's built and she has talents leveled up. I don't know where you're coming from with that. Her weapon's max too. Like, mine's leveled.
million, that's still 30
You're playing Yun Li right now? And what's wrong with Yun Li, bitch? Huh? My E6 Yun Li does back-to-back 2 millions with E6 Sparkle.
million from 3 million. You see what I'm trying to tell you? This company is killing it, and I would like to express to you guys, they have nowhere near the exposure that
Waifu? No, you stupid motherfuckers. Obviously, I have male characters too. I'm not saying they're all waifus. I'm just a collector at the end of the day. I want to collect all characters. This is why sometimes, even when I didn't play Nikkei that actively, I just kept fucking swiping on that damn game and collected every fucking Nikkei. I essentially have every Nikkei in the game except for like 1 or 2, or I think 2 liberation characters that I haven't unlocked yet because I have to fucking do that thing, right? It's the same thing with FGO, right? FGO, I constantly go back for GSSRs and, you know, new big anniversary patches to get the new huge character, right?
Hoyoverse has,
and it's just an illness. I just like collecting.
as a company.
Name 4 male characters then? In what game? What, you want me to name you that in Genshin I have Zhongli, a child, Ayato, Scaramouche, Kazuha. I have all these characters. You know, Diluc. FGO? In FGO? I can, but I can't guarantee that I have them. I can name 5 male characters. I can't guarantee I have them because I will say, back then, chat, you hear me out. Back then, I was working paycheck to paycheck. I only got so much money and FGO doesn't fucking a pity. I have to fucking min-max here and only roll for the hottest waifus I like. I can't roll for every fucking character, okay? So, like, I skipped a lot of characters. I even skipped a lot of waifus because I can't afford it. I'm not a fucking millionaire, okay? Back then, I was literally working paycheck to paycheck and living off of that, okay?
I don't have the exposure. I want to compare it to the YouTube scenario again. My YouTube channel,
I will tell you, chat, if I had the content creator money I had now and I was a big FGO content creator, okay, I still wouldn't swipe as much as Rex, but I would at least have everybody MP1, yeah?
exposure is nowhere near the exposure of a massive channel like Moist Critical. I don't reach the audience that he reaches with my channel. So you can't say, oh, that guy's growth is doing way better than yours if he only went from 1 million to 1.1 million in terms of a viewership or something. But I go from 10,000 to 60,000 views in viewership per video. You see that there's a big increase in percent value there. And that's how you have to look at Wuthering Waves versus the Hoyoverse sphere. The fact that it's doing what it's doing is nothing short of phenomenal for a company growth. If it was a stock, I'd invest in that fucking stock, but I'd also invest in Hoyoverse as well. It'd be like investing in Amazon versus investing in like a smaller company in the similar niches with a much higher upside potential, if that makes sense. Those are my thoughts on the whole Big Four.
Yeah, but see, the issue with this whole point is that he's talking to idiots, right? He's talking about the idiots who want to pretend Wuthering Waves is dying. If anybody is walking around saying Wuthering Waves is dying because their revenue went down to $29.5 million, shut the fuck up. You're so stupid, right? So, like, there is really no point to argue with idiots. The same people who will go around saying Wuthering Waves is dead for only making $29.5 million are the same motherfuckers who are probably saying Genshin is dying. Genshin still fucking makes a ridiculous amount of money. It's not dying, right? Like, it's fucking pointless, you know? And I get it. Gacha, Smack is just trying to, you know, he's just trying to make it easy for the idiots to understand, but I don't think idiots will ever understand.
You know, whatever the hell you want to call Wuthering Waves, HSR, Genshin, and ZZZ. Now I would like...
That's because of Hoyo Shield, Mr. Fob. They did it first. It doesn't fucking really matter who did it first. Because, like, let me tell you this. If someone slings a piece of poop at you, you're like, ew. And so you pick up a piece of poop and sling it back. At the end of the day, who's got poop on them? And who's holding poop? Both of you. You're both idiots. So you could be like, they did it first. guess what? You're both fucking idiots now. Like, it doesn't fucking really matter, you know?
Like to take a look at Love in Deep Space.
Oh, what the fuck kind of example
is
is that?
this game, and why does
I mean, okay, I don't have to use poop, but like, you know?
it keep popping up in the top 10, bro? This looks like Coomer's territory, but for women, right?
Coomers for women. I think those
Hello,
are called.
excuse me, Mr.
I think those
Streamer.
are called
Any more
in the
peak variety
degenerate
today,
sphere.
Pepe?
Those are called
Question.
femcells. This is the opposite of incels. They're actually femcells. Pizuri, thank you for the 8.
I feel like women are carrying this game heavily right now. I'm looking at 3 out of Korean. They
Bro,
look Korean
really
because
put
their
the anal in
hairstyle.
analogy.
3 Korean Giga Chads right here, bro, with all the flamboyancy and pretty
Love and Deep Space is definitely not Korean, right? It's Chinese. Yeah? Is it Korean? It's Chinese, right? Yeah.
boy aura. What the hell?
What do you mean, Korean boy aura, huh? What's he trying to say?
What are you doing in this game? Is it a dating simulator? I don't know. I have no idea. But Dokkan Battle is back up there again because you got a bunch of Dragon Ball Z diehard fans who will play a dog shit game even if it's not, you know, compelling. Oh, shit. Now I'm making enemies for no reason. Hey, it's the truth, bro. I've seen that
I didn't
game.
say it,
It's
chat.
pure
I
fucking
didn't
language.
say it. I've never played it. I don't know.
I hear the summoning in this game is more fun than the actual game. Like, people enjoy summoning on banners.
Oh, yo, don't
better
tell
than
Blood.
They do playing the actual game, which is
Was it
crazy.
Blood? Who is
And then
always
Fate Grand
shilling
Order,
for
the
fucking
only
Dokkan
game
Battle?
up there that actually understands that skins do make a lot of money. So Fate Grand Order, good on you. Other than
what
that,
did he say
guys,
about
that's
Fate?
all I really wanted to talk about. Enjoy Fate Grand Order, the only game up there that actually understands that skins do make a lot of money. So Fate Grand Order.
What? Does he know? I don't think he knows.
Good on you. Other than that, guys, that's all I really wanted to talk about. I know you guys love when I talk about all the other
I don't
games,
think he
but
knows
let's
about
face it,
Fate.
bro.
I think
Who
he's
gives a fuck about the other? No, I'm just kidding. All right, look, Snowbreak Containment Zone is popping off. I've seen the fucking Coomer bait that they've been dropping recently, but I don't.
Can you imagine if Fate had the gacha it does and sold like premium value skins? And those are the only way to get those skins. Oh my god, that would be awful. That would be terrible.
I don't have enough information to really understand why it's popping off recently, but good on Snowbreak. You guys comment down below if you want to enlighten me on that. AFK Journey dropped from 8 to down to 5 million, but that's still really good numbers for AFK Journey. I'm actually more impressed with AFK Arena that's been out way longer and it's still performing. I think this speaks volumes. I might have to try this game out just to see why
Probably
people
the same reason
still play
AFK Journey will continue to make this type of money.
In fact, word of mouth to my brother Vulcan, who's like a well-versed veteran in that space, I hear AFK Arena is more relevant than Journey today, which is that's crazy, bro. And other than that, Honkai Impact III is staying between that little 2 million to 3 million range. Good on them. Loyal fan base. Persona 5 kind of like fell off. Brown Dust 2, I've heard a lot about it. Don't know what the hell it is. And then we have Tower of God going from 700,000 to 1 million. We have Tower of Fantasy. Can't even crack 1 million these days. That's crazy. But they got Neverus to Everest, or is it Neverness to? I mean, they need to change that goddamn title, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. All right, look, change the damn title.
All
That
less
shit is
than
Azure
three.
Azure, thank you for the year.
NTE, their newest IP coming out that looks really, really good, to be honest with you. Other than that, that's all I pretty much care about, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, guys, I don't state all of this stuff as facts. I'm merely like commenting on what I see. But yeah, peace.
Yep, because
Damn.
Fate skins
50
are
minutes for that video.
Fate skins are free.
You're la crazy.
That's why they're not facts. Anyways, anyways. All right. Not a bad video though. He definitely gives context to things, you know, that people might not think of. This is why I was talking about that it would be interesting if they implemented some type of like company to company tier list. That would have been really cool, but it's still a pretty good video. Nice.